Okay, so today we are going to show you how to make the stuffed animal, the simple stuffed animal that you can either machine sew or hand sew. This is what it looks like, and the pattern pieces are all in the file section of our group, and I've just cut them out in whatever fabric you want, and then lay them out so you can see what you're doing. The first thing you want to do is the embroidery of the face. So I've cut out the muzzle here. So I'm going to want to draw, this is a chalk pen. It's got little chalk things that you put in. I just find it easier to use one of these. You can use other kinds of chalk or the disappearing ink or anything like that. So his eyes are going to be up this way. So I'll draw the eyes on. Okay, and then this is going to be his nose. And then we're going to have a cute little mouth. And then let's see, for his belly, we're going to put a French knot for his belly button. So first you want to do the embroidery. So I have a piece of embroidery thread here. See, I'm using a brown. To tie the knot, you go behind the needle. 1, 2, 3. Grasp the needle and pull it down. Now, if you look on our YouTube, there is a video there that explains how to embroider a little better. Let's see here, the lighting. All right, so you want to go from the behind and make a stitch. And then we're going to back stitch. So you're going to want to go, trying to get this where you can see it a little better. Go from behind, a little bit away, and then go back down into the previous hole. And this is the back stitch. We're just making the outline of the nose. And again, a lot of people use like buttons and stuff, but it's a choking hazard. So I don't want to give the chance of anybody choking on pieces from our stuffed animals when we donate them. So that's why I am suggesting that everyone use the hand embroidery techniques. Now you can make these stuffed animals out of any kind of fabric that you want or have on hand, or old clothes that you tear up or whatever. You can use canvas or cotton, pretty much anything, but I like to use the whole thing. All right, so we are going to do the satin stitch on his nose. So you're going to start in the corner. And you're going to want to try and get as close to the edge as possible. And then go to the other edge. And go back down to the bottom. So basically we're just filling in the nose. Go ahead and pause the video now and finish satin stitching on the inside. All right, so we have the nose all filled in now. So we will put that there. So for the belly button, we're going to go ahead and do a French knot. So you're going to want to cut. So I already have my thread. I already have it knotted at the end. So I'm going to come up. Then you want to go around and then go back down next to where you came up your thread. You want to kind of hold the thread in place a little bit and then pull it down through the middle. And there you have a little French knot, which is going to be like his belly button. And we're just going to tie it off in the back. Oops. Now if your fabric is thin and you're having problems with it puckering, or it just doesn't feel stable to you, you can use like an interfacing to make it a little thicker, or you could use a couple of layers of the fabric to make the fabric more sturdy and less likely to move around. Alright, so there we have that. So next we're going to want to do the eyes, and you're going to do the eyes pretty much the same way you did the nose. You're going to back stitch around the outside and then satin stitch in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and get my stuff ready for that. Alright, so now we did the eyes. One of them's a little wonky and smaller than the other, but that's okay. It gives them personality, right? So what you're going to want to do now is start with his muzzle, put that on, and then you just want to like tack it in place so it doesn't move around while you're trying to sew it on to the stuffed animal. Alright, so more embroidery floss, not at the end. There's a lot of different stitches you can do to attach his pieces. You can sew up and down, kind of like a sewing machine all the way around. But I kind of like the way the loopy stitch looks. So we went down where we came up, then you want to come up next to it. And I've seen where people like mark on their fingers little dashes so that they can make them uniform as to like how far apart they are and stuff like that. I'm just going to wing it. So you're just going to go around. And this fabric is probably going to fray a little bit when it's washed, which is fine. You can, if you don't want it to fray, you can use a a fray stop liquid stuff that helps it not to fray, but this is kind of a rustic looking little bear. So I'm going to say it's okay if he frays a little bit. Now these are just really basic stitches to get you started. You can learn a lot of fancy stitches on YouTube. Just search hand embroidery and like stuffed animals or something like that, or just hand embroidery, and you can learn all the different kinds of stitches there are. We're just trying to teach you the basics to start. We might eventually do a more advanced lesson, but we want to give you some of the starting stitches to get you going. All right, go ahead and finish sewing that on. Pause your video and we will come back when his muzzle is on. All right, now for his tummy, we're going to do a, what I'm doing is I'm marking 1/2 inch spaces to kind of help keep my stitches a little bit more even. Like I was saying, you could do with the mouth also, just so it's a little more uniform. But of course you don't have to. You can just wing it. And that's fine. Okay, so we are going to try a herringbone stitch. And what that is kind of like a zigzag stitch. So let's see, you're going to want to come up from the bottom so that way you hide your needle. Okay, and then you want to do a horizontal stitch, small horizontal stitch in between where your two lines are. Pull it through, and then right below where your line is, or at your line, you want to do another horizontal stitch. That's where you just get like a tiny bit of the fabric going this way. Pull it through. Okay, and then we'll come up here. And then do another horizontal stitch. Go in between the two. Do a small horizontal. So it's giving us like a little bit of a zigzaggy type of stitch. Actually, we could, let me see, if we go over, there we go, and cross over again, horizontal, pull that behind, cross over, horizontal stitch. Keep pulling it up on the wrong side. So you want to cross over your last stitch every time. So you want to cross over, horizontal stitch, come up on the outside of your thread, cross over, horizontal stitch, come up on the outside again, then you can cross over. And you want to keep doing that all the way around. So go ahead and pause your video and continue to do the stitch all the way around his tummy. Alright, so I made my way around with the herringbone stitch, and back where I started. So I'm just going to go down into the first stitch I did, pull it up through the back, tie a knot to keep it in place. And there you have the herringbone, which is a cute little rustic stitch for your bear. Okay, so what we're going to do is do the blanket stitch to stitch the bear together. So you're going to put wrong sides together because the stitching is going to be on the outside edges. So I have my embroidery floss with a knot at the end, and all right, so go up through the middle of the fabric, that way it hides the knot. Go up, tuck the knot in there. So go up, and you want to take your needle into the loop, and that gives it the stitch at the top. So up through the bottom, you leave a little bit and you want to go through that loop and go around. Now, you might want to do it a little closer together so that it doesn't have a gap where the stuffing can come out. So let's go a little bit closer together. I just wanted to show you the basic stitch of it. So we're going to go next to this one, go on this side of the thread, and pull through. And again, you can measure out the stitches if that makes it easier to have them more uniform. So this is what the stitch is looking like. See, if we open it, they're closer so that the stuffing won't poke through like it would when they're further apart. So you're going to want to stitch almost all the way around. You want to leave a hole for the stuffing so that you can put the stuffing inside of your stuffed animal. So go ahead and continue the blanket stitch around the whole stuffed animal and pause the video. Okay, so I did the blanket stitch all around the edges. I left the top of his head open so that I can stuff him. You can use a polyfill, which is like a batting type of thing that they sell at the craft stores, or I've been saving my leftovers from all my sewing projects and cut it up into pieces, and I'm going to use that to fill it with. So you're going to want to stuff it full. Make sure that you get it into like the feet and the arms. You're going to want to push it into those areas to make sure that it gets some stuffing, and then finish blanket stitching around the top and your new friend will be complete. I hope you enjoyed making this cute little bear stuffed animal, and make sure to share pictures of your finished animals in our group. Thank you.